Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Playday number 1, Match 3 of Talent League R6. We have two fantastic teams on display for you today for this best of two matchup. It's going to be the Carlstad Kings taking on Volgara. And, one team we know a lot about, very long history inside of Talent League. They had a fantastic run deep into last season, eventually taken out by Noetic, the eventual champions. And on the other hand, we have Volgara, a newer team emerging up in Talent League, want to show us what they're made of. I can't wait to dig our teeth into this one. And joining me for this fantastic game, it's going to be Leo. He's a fantastic player. Joining me, it's my honor to have him here in the casting booth. Hey Leo, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Golo?
I'm doing fantastically. And, well, like I said, this is going to be a treat of a matchup. We're trying to get the lobby set up just now, and we'll also let you know right when we have our map ban pick phase ready. We'll let you know what the arena for today's matchup is going to be. But are there any maps you particularly want to see today, Leo?
Um, Honestly, I would like to see Coastline just because it's interesting to watch. I feel like it's an interesting map in the map pool right now, and maybe a villa. execute, go for these frags. A lot of these rounds they just end up ending just by people, running into side, just fragging the defenders, or the other way around. So sometimes it's just not even about the harbor breach. Villa is like what is an interesting map in that sense because you can go very strategical with it, but you can also go very frag heavy. And there's a lot of individual play potential on Villa, but then again, there's a lot of heavy strats that you can use on defense to make sure that you're dominating the defense. So it's interesting.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm sure these two teams will have a really good time against each other. But you know what? We have our lobby ready. We have all 10 players eagerly awaiting our beck and call. That's the power that we hold right here. And so, you know what? We'll pass it over to them. We'll let them show us what they've got for today's first game on Villa. Oh, it's Chalet first, not Villa first. My bad. But we'll be launching into it either way. Whew. So, Chalet first, not Villa. That's a mistake on my end, and I deeply apologize for misleading all of you, but it does mean we get to see Chalet earlier, which, for those of you who are much alike to me, that is only good news. As we jump back in, what bands are you expecting to see coming out here immediately on Chalet?
I'm definitely expecting the Thatcher just because every team bans it right now, and usually the team on defense is gonna ban the Thatcher first. You don't really want to take the risk of playing with the Thatcher open because it changes your strats completely, and most teams just practice without it.
Yeah,
Besides that, maybe a Mira, maybe a Valkyrie. Both of these are strong. Sometimes Castle at this level of play.
yeah. And we do have to pause very quickly. This isn't an error on your end. We do apologize. One player, Juan in specifically, we're going to name drop him. He's feeling a little bit thirsty. He's going to find himself a nice cool beverage. Don't worry, we'll make sure to find what drink he has got, and we can all have a quick discussion about whether it's worth getting that drink or not. If he comes back with a water, maybe that's acceptable. If he goes for something like maybe what, where do you weigh in on the Red Bull versus Monster war?
Probably Monster, man. Just stays better. You have more of it in the can as well.
There you go. The
That's where
official
I'm leaning.
So the official call from us here is that Monster over Red Bull. That's not official from me. This is what my dear friend Leo is saying. So any complaints, send them his way, not mine. I was not involved. I am merely the messenger. But
I mean, Garlo, you just have more of it. That's all. Like that's the difference.
quantity over quality, I see.
Definitely, definitely. You want more of that caffeine in your system. That's the goal.
The goal is just chugging as much energy drink as possible. What if you were offered one can of Monster or two cans of Red Bull?
I don't know, bro. I think I'll still go with the Monster just because it's less time consuming, bro. I'm just opening one can and still getting a lot of caffeine in my system, bro. I feel like that's enough. That's it's time efficient. I'll
Yeah,
go for Monster anyway.
time efficiency, quantity per bottle. These are the important factors that you have to consider when choosing a drink of your own at home. And well, I'm just really pleased that we
If
could
you're
bring this
playing,
information to you. Oh yeah, well yeah.
that's if you're playing. That's if you're playing.
If you have to, okay, what's your casual drink? Then you're just sitting down watching some Netflix, grabbing a quick drink.
Oh, definitely not an energy drink. Definitely not. These things are not healthy for you at all. So only when you're competing, boys.
There we
If you're
go.
not competing, throw those out the window.
There's that Thatcher band coming out from Volgara, and nothing that we didn't expect. Now maybe we'll see something a bit interesting coming out from this band. Carlstad Kings have leaned in the past to some more interesting operator selections. We'll have to wait and see if that continues to be the case, as they will remove from play the attacking operator of the Nomad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, operator bands can be like pretty interesting with newer maps, just because people are still figuring out the map. They're trying to understand how they want to play it, and you can't always copy from the pros just because there's so much you can copy. There's so many games of Chalet, sorry, played till now, and yeah, and people also want to come up with their own stuff.
And the mirror going rid of to join them, like you highlighted to us earlier, it's just an operator that a lot of teams don't really feel very comfortable with. And finally, it'll be Volgara taking the Cade off the table, which is interesting when they're starting on the defensive end. A very powerful operator and can give them a lot of assistance at keeping some of these key walls closed down. But that does mean operators such as the Valkyrie are going to be in play, and Valkyrie is very powerful with those black eye cameras, just giving information to those defenders. And if the attackers aren't aware of where they're being placed, if they can't keep their eyes open for them, then it can lead to a little bit of damage.
Yeah, a lot of sneaky places where you can place those black eyes. Um, Valkyrie is very strong on maps that are like bigger, like Villa, Chalet, but she's a strong operator overall. I think it could be a solid ban. Just depends on what the teams prefer. That Volgara just decided to ban out the Cade here. I guess they know that you can put the Cade charges in very sneaky spots and can be really tricky to get out of there sometimes, and just makes attacking quite frustrating sometimes. So yeah, the Cade ban is not a bad one.
And we're going to be going up to master bedroom and office first of all, starting off on that top floor. And there's been a little bit of contention between teams on what site you should be going to as the preliminary one. It really comes down to personal preference at the end of the day, but teams really haven't quite settled into they haven't conformed to the same meta yet.
As there will be, I think that's natural. Every map, when it comes out, when it comes into the competitive map pool, there's always debate which side of the two stronger ones is the strongest. And even until this day, like basically Clubhouse, CCTV, and Church, right? Like I feel like for the longest time, people preferred CCTV, and then they went back to Church, and then they go back to CCTV, and so on and so forth, right? So it's just natural for these maps. I think every team is just playing whatever it's better on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do really like to see this zero coming out from someone. It's going to give them a little bit more information available to them, as well as those tasers on those SAM cams, as I love to call them. It's just going to really help shut down some of these gadgets, remove those ADSs from the table, maybe be able to catch out some of those bandit batteries. But the first kill coming through from Instill, that's taking out iFluvio, that Mozzie who was trying to hide away inside a library, finally caught out as he tries to fall back. A lovely angle being held from the upside down rappel, watching him as he crosses across the mezzanine.
Yeah, that's a great shot there from the Ash, from the Yana coming in. Great early pick, and it's gonna be really important just because attacking on the Chalet could be quite tricky with that setup in piano and that shield. So it's gonna open a lot of avenues right now.
I think one thing that we should. Oh, and a Pogmat goes off. That takes Blue the Thermite down to 20 HP, putting him in prime position to get taken out by one of Cold Cobra's toxic babes. Speaking of toxicity, it was some little bit of less than joy coming out from iFluvio when he got taken down. Jeff, Cold Cobra, and iFluvio have been a core three players that played together for, well, almost as long as I can remember. And at one point, they themselves wore the tag Carlstad Kings before eventually moving on and now being with Volgara. So this is almost a little bit of a Carlstad Kings derby, bit of a grudge match coming on. We'll have to see who comes out on top. But for now, it's going to be Shock hiding away in the basement, trying to play this so slow, playing the patience game, watching that window because he knows someone's going to go there, but he gets shot through the floor. Divine knew that Jaeger was there. They must have had a hidden drone watching him, or at least have heard some footsteps. That is definitely going to help Carlstad Kings a lot here. They're now in that 2 versus 5 Jeff. Sorry, 3 versus 5 as Jeff takes quite a brunt of damage early on now. 36 seconds on the clock in the 3 versus 5. Two toxic babes still in the pocket of Cold Cobra as they're trying to find a way into sight. The wall has been opened up. As frag grenades are flying out, Cold Cobra hugging very close to the window, but it sprays. Going to take him down a little bit of damage. Divine finds a quick kill. He's still all the way down into sight. They know the last is in piano, and he has 5 members to fight. A couple shots from him still, and that's going to be a triple kill for him. Carlstad Kings taking this one home in flawless fashion.
Yeah, that was a great round from the attackers right there. That important pick on the Jaeger basically ensured that they can execute safely onto side without worrying about their flanks. They knew that another flank is probably not coming in. Just a great attack overall. That opening pick again was just so very important, and just unfortunate for that Mozzie be rotating like that, but he needs to learn from that mistake and he needs to make sure that it doesn't happen again because these rounds are going to be crucial from now on.
Absolutely. And well, the same lineup coming in once again from Carlstad Kings. They found their groove and they want to make it stick. But the Oryx being hovered here by Cold Cobra on a bar gaming site. And well, this is a very interesting operator. He's going to be kept in play, allows that vertical maneuverability by going up those hatches. The only operator in the game that can jump up a hatch. Amaru has her grapple hook, the Gara hook, I believe it is called, which can do the same thing, but it's a little bit, a little bit louder and requires you to be, well, an attacker inside. Not that that's very uncommon. I just think it's a little bit more reliable with Oryx. You see him do it a little bit more.
Yeah, Cold Cobra on that Oryx is one of those picks that it's sometimes really hard to justify why you're picking the Oryx. But if the player can make it work and he knows how to maneuver around the map using his gadgets and his abilities with Oryx well, then it could be really worth it. It could be what brings him to win this round. But if the attackers expect the Oryx and they expect the plays, they watch those hatches, then he's basically useless. He's gonna die as soon as he jumps up, or he will never get the opportunity to jump up. So it's just one of those picks that it's very high risk, high reward kind of operator. And yeah, we'll see if it pans out.
Absolutely. Well, Juan, they're just playing around these hatches. They want to try and gather information across the map before they commit to anything. They just want to make sure they know what's going on around them, and playing this long horizontal hold, just trying to hold as much of the map as possible, will force the attackers to slowly eke away as Askel is going to bite a Nitro Cell, get taken very low. It does mean a single shot from any remaining player will take him out. We'll have to wait and see how that folds out for him, however. He's going to be taking a little bit of a back seat for the time being, and with that health pool remaining, you can understand why. Is they're just trying to clear out Solarium, trying to take this top floor control as Ifluvio on that Frost, still causing some problems.
Yeah, Carlstad is going for this attack on bedroom side on the repels and the windows using their nades, and it doesn't look like they want to rotate out of here, so they'll need to establish some trophy control. They'll need to make sure that they get as much information as possible because it's just so easy to repel in, and as I say that, Frost is gonna get a pick onto the Zofia. It's just so hard to clear that side of the map just from that one window and repelling, so they'll need to be looking at trophy here.
Well, this is causing a couple time problems for them as they have a minute 20 left in the round. A lovely shot from someone's going to take out Ifluvio, but that won't, that's going to help them out quite a little bit, bringing it back to that 4 versus 4 health pool advantage, definitely still in favor of Volgara. That's something that they can work around. There is the one-shot headshot mechanic for a reason, and that reason is you get shot in the head, you're dead. Nice little rhyme for you there, just so you can remember that one at home. And now trying to take this control over by Library. You can see him still trying to find a way to work down this main corridor. Someone now coming in to give him some support. The Jeff is taking a bit of damage, he's stuck in the corner.
50 seconds, and they have to think about execute right now. There's 2 shields that they have to deal with, and they need to attack bar here. To do that, they have to take the vertical control, and it looks like that's what they're doing right now. They're already going to be sledging the floor, and they're going to be thinking about execute. But Juan, with that SMG-11 and the shotgun, is going to be such a menace on the staircase as he backs off. The defenders are in quite a rough situation right now. It's a 4v3, and they need to make sure that they get a pick on someone once they push onto sites, and it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. 4v2, everything is ready for execute, and looks like they know exactly where Quan is. They're gonna drop in, and Quan will miss the shots. He will peek onto the staircase, he will play the 1v3, Plant is gonna go down, and oh, the Diffuser is not there. They have to chase Quan. The defenders won by time.
They both pushed through a doorway, not realizing he was hiding around the corner as a mute. Gets the double kill, and that will secure them the round win. A little bit sloppy there.
I think they forgot the diffuser upstairs.
I mean, something went wrong there from Carlstad Kings. That is no
that should
question.
have been a full execute with a plant down. So I feel like they lost the diffuser upstairs. Maybe someone died and we missed it. I'm not too sure.
Maybe someone dropped their hatch too early, but either way, that is going to be critical.
That's definitely unfortunate. Volgara. That's a round that they should have taken away from Volgara.
Yeah, and I mean, it was really well played by Quan in that position just to stay hidden, stay out of the way, and pick up that double kill very efficiently. And, well, they'll certainly be very pleased with that round win. However, that does put Carlstad in a little bit of a difficult situation now because, well, that's 2 rounds in a row they've been set up in a very commanding position. Except only one time were they able to execute on it. Now we're going to see not the return to the top floor like one might expect, but instead going down to Snowmobile and Wine, just trying to try something else unique, bringing that Aruni once again and using that fist to good use, opening up some rotations inside of the site. A nice array of operators here. We're seeing Vigil, Ella, Oryx, operators that you don't see a ton of, specifically that Ella and that Oryx, but Volgara just pretty seem to have a flair for the exotic.
Yeah, Volgara is definitely planning on heavily roaming here. Maybe something similar to an SSG and a spawn pick from Quan. What a great shot onto the vine there. That's going to be crucial for the round as Zofia goes down. That's your primary entry fragger. And she's not going to play this round. She's just going to sit on cameras and give as much information as possible. That's unfortunate there. But as I was saying, looks like they're gonna go for a little bit of a roam here. Maybe something similar to SSG on Clubhouse when people go for basement there. Uh, on Chalet, basement is just not a very desirable site for a lot of teams. They just prefer not to play it just because it's so easy to pressure vertically and by opening the wine cellar wall and the outside garage wall. And in this case, maybe Volgar figured out something we didn't, and great shot from Instill onto Jeff. That's your Oryx going down, and he's not going to be able to use any of his utility.
Absolutely, and they're starting to get this main wall down into Snowmobile Garage opened up. They know there's someone upstairs. I'm pretty sure they saw them on the drone, although he's taking a pick. He drops down into the line of fire. The frag grenade going off, can't quite hit the shots. It's going to be Juan picking up one, but instead an Askel on site, going to take out two. The plant's going down behind the green bins, and there's not much on site that's being done about it. As Ifluvio, the last man standing, is going to get caught out by someone as he tries to push in for the retake. And a really nice execution from Carlstad as they very aggressively took side.
Carlstad, they're really executing pretty heavily every single round, and they know what they're going for. Even in advanced disadvantage, they're still managing to get those important frags that they need. They know which angles they have to peek and how they need to cover the diffuser, and it's just very impressive every single time. This time around, they did have the diffuser, which that's probably the primary reason why they won the round, and they lost it the previous time around. So they'll need to make sure that they keep taking it with them towards the site, and they plan that because it looks like their game plan is working right now.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be the Warden coming out, so this is a little bit more interesting. Something that we've seen work from time to time, but here we go, a Rook and a Dock. So clearly a change of pace.
Yeah, Volgara is definitely going for an aggressive playstyle here, regardless if they're gonna roam or not. They're looking for these frags, and that's their win condition. Just kill the enemy team. That's how we're gonna win, boys. But Warden is just way more of a miss usually than a hit. In most compositions and against most compositions and operators. There's no Ying here. There's not even a single flash on the enemy team, so you really got to question that Warden right now. What's it for?
And it's possible they want to use it to get rid of those smokes that are in fact in the pocket of blue. And we saw last time when executing through that Snowmobile that it was those smoke grenades being quite helpful in being able to sneak behind that blue, behind the green bins, sorry, not blue. But either way, we're going to see a quick roam upstairs. It's actually Cold Cobra going for a first point of aggression instead, flying off on Mezzanine as Ifluvio goes for another bit of a spawn peek. He's looking for people outside the window, a couple stray shots, can't quite see anything, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with having a quick hot shot. Instead, he's going to back up now. Doesn't want to take too much of a risk as he's flying up on this top floor, just instead running down that clock. Control of gaming has now been taken by Carlstad as they're looking for that opening pick. And as I say that, it's going to be Askel taking out Ifluvio. They know exactly where the next member of this defensive roam setup is. Doc trying to hold a cover angle for him. It's going to be Bandit, I believe, at the top of Barn. There we go. Askel taking him out as he tries to rotate, and it's going to have to be Jeff now on that Doc falling back. Realizes the position that they have been left in. Juan is not happy about getting taken out on that one, as this roam game is getting picked apart consistently.
Yeah, and again, Carlstad in a 5v3 situation, they always seems to have the advantage, even though when they played in a 4v5, they still executed properly. So you gotta wonder how they're gonna execute now when they're in a 5v3, right? They have all the map control that they want, and they just need to think about execute right now. Looks like they're gonna go for that outside breach with the thermite, as he's already outside of a snowmobile waiting to breach that wall. And looks like execute is gonna come in soon here when Yana is gonna help with the thermite. Just a question of if the warden will be able to deny this plant this time. And Sledge, that's a lot of pressure that is gonna get alleviated from the defenders, as they're not gonna be able to use those vertical holds anymore. And 1 minute on the clock. I mean, it's all the question if the warden will be able to deny the plant right now.
Yeah, and whether Jeff can stay hidden as this dock in this position, because I don't think after killing that sledge, it's been too much pressure to focus his way. As a frag grenade's going to go land right on top of him, but nope, he's not going to be able to get taken out there. Instead, it's going to be someone picking up Jeff elsewhere on the map, as Divine also picking up Cold Cobra inside of Blue. It's all down to Shock now in the 1 versus 4. This is becoming very quickly as smoke grenades go flying out. Blue sticking that plant down. They have all the angles covered from above, a couple shots down, and it's going to be someone taking out Shock. Carlstad Kings taking a strong round number 4. They're just looking so damn clean in these rounds.
Yeah, great shots there from the Zero, and great game sense to understand that he actually needs to go for these vertical holes that Sledge made beforehand, before he died to the dock there. They made sure again that when they go for execute, every angle is covered, that the defenders cannot sit in any sneaky positions, and wherever they can sit, well, the smokes will cover that, or will the cover from snowmobile outside the plant. So yeah, just very methodical right now from Carlstad. Regardless if they're in a man advantage or a man disadvantage, they seem to know what they're going for, and they're just executing it well.
Well, if it's going well, there's no need to change anything. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the same lineup is coming out once again from them. They really love the use of this Zero, and the Yana is giving them a lot of information as well as that second set of frag grenades, and they're playing very well around it, using it in superb fashion to shut down this run game.
Yeah, I feel like for the attack, you just want to keep the lineup as static as possible. You just want to six-pick those occasional operators that you're using for Arvash, like a Blitz or like Dokubi or maybe a Ying, right? But besides that, you won't need to make sure that you have the flexibility to deal with whatever side you're attacking. And you need to make sure that you're adaptable, basically. Mid-round, you can make the changes. Okay, we're going to have a 3-man run out here with a Goyo shield. Not sure what this is supposed to be. Looks like they're gonna hold a K9 balcony like this. I'm not too sure what's happening here.
It's a bit of a head scratcher, but I mean, with 3 ADXs invested in this one spot, that might be... I mean, it definitely leaves other areas of the map lacking in some regards. We'll have to see how this is chosen to be dealt with if they choose to go for it at all. I'm sure they'll dedicate some clear towards this area. The Nitro Cell coming out from Ifluvio isn't quite going to connect with anyone. That first Sandcam getting caught out by the ADS. The second one does so as well. Third one finally going down as he goes for a run out, running around the corner. The frag grenade coming in to get rid of that Glorio shield. A little bit of damage done onto Ifluvio in the process. The Bandit is on that window supporting him. He might even go for a main door and still trying to hold that position, maybe expecting some tricky plays from the Bandit. But elsewhere, they've taken control as Jeff is going to fall. That's the Bandit who was playing downstairs, taken out by Arsenal coming up through bar. Shock on the flank, though, is going to find Divine, throw the Nitro Cell upstairs, trying to find a second and get shot out of midair, though, as they're trying to hold on. And Shock's going to fall back, retreat downstairs to the basement as Ifluvio takes another hefty trade.
Yeah, Carlstad would need to be watching out for these flanks right now, because it's a 4v4 situation, and a flank right now can definitely interrupt their push onto side here. And every single time when they execute it perfectly, it just worked because there was no flank, there was nothing to worry about. So right now they need to make sure that these flank drones are watched and that they're placed correctly, and that's what they're gonna do right now. Blue is gonna do that for the Zofia, and it looks like flank is gonna be covered. And we're gonna be thinking here about what kind of execute we're gonna go for. It looks like from the way Carlstad is playing, they're gonna try and hard breach that wall, and we'll just go for a classic execute onto office here with the smokes possibly. Another nade is gonna go out and get the Goyo. If gotta wonder what the thinking is there with the shield, but regardless, wall is gonna open, and we're gonna be thinking about execute right now. There's a smoke in piano that can possibly deny this. 40 seconds on the clock, and Axel is gonna just wait for these smokes to evaporate before they execute.
Yeah, with 35 seconds now, the second Toxic Gate being expended. One more still in the pocket of Cold Cobra on that smoke. Juan trying to hold a long angle through this wall, making a couple more holes, give him a little bit more sight. But he has to be careful now because that canine balcony has been taken over by Carlstad Kings. There's Instill playing on it. Dropping the smoke deep into that hole will allow them the possibility to sneak in for a plant. The angle by Cold Cobra trying to be held, manages to get the Inj onto Instill, but can't quite find the kill as Instill is going to take out Shock. Now the plant down 43 seconds on the timer in this post-plant situation, and that attacking lineup are just falling back. Finally, Kwang going to shut down Instill. As he was injured, claim that kill. I think he sees the shoulder. No, that's the plant pot in the background. He's pushing onto this balcony, trying to find a player playing under there, but he's under the window on the other side. It is in fact Blue and Askell holding very far back. The rotation from Kwan is going to get one, but he'll be quickly shut down by Blue. The Thermite taking that kill with someone watching deep through the breach as the other player pushes up aggressively. And well, a nice try there on that post plant to play very aggressively, catch the attackers off guard, but ultimately it was not successful.
Yeah, 4-1 scoreline here, and considering the fact that the only round that Carlstad lost was because they basically forgot the diffuser or made a mistake on the execute, a crucial mistake, basically lost themselves the round and not Volgara winning it for them. It's just very worrisome right now for Volgara. You gotta wonder what they have to do to make sure that, you know, they win some of these rounds. They need to make sure that they get at least one more round, so it's a bit more comfortable here on the attack. Heading into attack, 4-2 is not that bad. You can still come back. It's Chalet. It's not particularly defender sided, but you need to make sure that you make some changes. I feel like that hyper aggressive playstyle, those wacky shields are just not going well for them. Spawn picks, maybe, yeah, they're getting kills sometimes, and they're usually not dying. But besides that, maybe play a bit more passive on side, maybe make sure that you're roaming more traditionally when you do roam, you play together. Place your utility more for blend denial. I'm not too sure what they have to do here, but they need to make some changes right now.
Absolutely, because, well, if you go 5-1 down coming into the second half, that gives you very little margin for error. Because if you drop one round, you make one mistake in a round, you're a match point, make one more, that is game over. Dunzo, Fine concluded. And, well, it is going to be Carlstad Kings attacking back again onto this bar site. Volgara, well, that was the only round they were able to win out before. And, like you said, it wasn't really due to fantastic play from them themselves on the defensive end, more so a mistake by Carlstad Kings. Mistakes can be costly, and well, we'll have to see if Carlstad have learned from theirs. I'm sure they have, and they've looked on fire every other round, but 30 seconds in, not much action to be taken just yet, as Carlstad just want to make sure they're set up correctly in their positions. They're waiting around, trying to find out where these roamers are playing, because that's what they've been so good at in the past.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they find the roamers like they did before. But I would put my emphasis here on Volgara. I want to see what they're going to do to adapt here. Because Carlstad is obviously, they understand the map, they know how they want to play it, and they know how the enemy team is playing it. They're dealing with their aggression very well. They're using their utility, they're getting these nade frags when they need to, and they're isolating the roamers correctly. So the question is right now is how Volgara is going to deal with this. Are they going to go and overpeak and place their utility in weird places, or are they actually gonna play together here? We have to wait and see. Looks like a nade is gonna go out towards the Goyo here, and it's just not gonna connect, but we'll get rid of a Goyo shield, which is really important. That's still good use of utility there. I'm not too sure if that was the purpose of it. And Jeff is just gonna worry about that upside down repel. He knows that someone is on that window, and he knows that it's probably not a favorable gunfight for him.
Yeah, they know that there is a player hiding away inside the library, but they can't quite get the angle onto him, and someone to take out Shock as he moves in for support. Sledge running right past Jeff. That's the first kill going back in their favor as Fluvio picks him another, taking down Askell. Blue will catch out Jeff, however, but someone has been injured. Fluvio finishing off with the Nitro Cell, and it's now 1 versus 3 for Blue. He's trying to instead focus his way on the site. This player hiding behind the bar. Can he get the shots? He can't quite land them as the run out comes in from the mute. Fluvio still staying alive somehow, gets the first kill. The pistol being used, but Juan, following with the run out, is going to pick up the second victory round for Volgara.
Yeah, a great try there from the Thermite, but just not enough. It was too much aggression, too many angles to peek. People just kept running at him. That's not something you expect him to pull off normally. Um, what a great play by Jeff there. I mean, he was hiding, he didn't do anything particular. He didn't hit any amazing shots, but just the game sense and the understanding that if he hides in that specific corner, no one will find him. Probably a misdrawn, or he realized that maybe they overlooked it for some other reason. Just such a rat, great rat play, I would say. A lot of people would call it that way, but if it works, right? That was the correct play to make, and indeed, a 4-2 score line, it's better than a 5-1.
Absolutely. And it does put them in a position where they can start to contest on this attacking half now that they'll be moving on to. When we saw the power that they attack had on Chalet, where they were the ones setting the pace of the round, they were able to pick up those roaming kills. Now we saw some plays from Volgara where they showed that individually they can excel. Will we be able to see that extend into their attacking half where they are able to set themselves up for these early gunfight opportunities if they want to? They can take 1v1s against Romers, and if they can win them, that will put them in good positions. But we'll have to wait and see as we're having a bit of a rehost. We saw him still drop out in that last round. And, well, he couldn't quite get back into the lobby, so we have to do a full reboot, but it won't take too long. In the meantime, though, Leo, what do you think it's going to take for Carlstad Kings on their defensive end to close this one out?
I feel like there is a very significant difference between both teams and how they view the game and how they want to play it. I'm expecting some more traditional plays from Calsat on defense. If they roam, they're probably gonna roam together, and I don't think we're gonna see any of that wacky utility outside of the building. Frankly, I've never seen that before, and I'm not too sure what the thinking is. But regardless, Carlstad is just they just have a way more, let's say, vanilla play style of viewing the game, and I expect that's what they're gonna do on defense.
Yeah, it was certainly something I've never seen before. It was interesting, shall we say. I don't think we'll be seeing any teams pick it up in a hurry. Definitely something that will keep on the back burner, a bit more unorthodox. Um, it was fun to see though.
Yeah, it was fun to see, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, these kind of plays they lost in the rounds. They need to be thinking about those kind of defensive rounds and those kind of defensive strats when they're heading into the next map. But enough about that. It's very possible that um, the attack is gonna be very aggressive right now and very strange from the attacking team right now. And I'm not too sure if Karzak is gonna be able to deal with that properly. I mean, it really depends on how they deal with aggression when they're on defense. It's possible that some of these crouch walks are just gonna catch them off guard.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw, like you said, the rat plays coming in from Jeff, and you can emulate that on the defensive end of things by just playing, like you said, crouch walking in, use that slow walk to your advantage. With a little bit of information from hidden drones, it could really be very powerful from the side of Volgara. So, if you're imagining the potential operator lineup, how many how many of the Ash Zofia Sledge docket line are we expecting to see?
We're expected to see a lot of Yana. That's what we've seen from from the team on the attack so far, and that's what we see really often on Chalet, and we see it on normally right now from basically a lot of teams on every map that allows a Yana in the lineup. So every map that you don't need two hard breachers for, and every playstyle that you don't need two hard breachers for. So we see it a lot on Oregon, on Villa, on Chalet, on Coastline. Yana is just so good right now. She has those nades. That that clone is that clone is very effective. It's just an extra drone, maybe even two drones if you use the Yana correctly and you stay alive till the end of the round. Just so easy to clear rooms with it really fast and make sure you're droning your entry in with a clone. So
Absolutely.
we're really expecting the Yana right now from the attack. Besides that, I mean, again, just keep the attacking lineup as flexible as possible. That's usually your your guideline. That's what you want to go for. But it's possible that we're gonna see some weird picks here. Maybe a lion, maybe a jackal. I'm not too sure. Um, the team who was defending just now, they seem to be going for an unorthodox playstyle. So it's possible that they're gonna do the same on attack. I'm not too sure.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have seen Cold Cobra in the past, be that in previous leagues, previous seasons of Talent League itself. We've seen things like the Lion get picked up to play, like you mentioned, and I think Jackal's another really excellent operator to highlight. If you're playing very aggressively on the attack, you want to have an additional tool in closing down these roamers. Jackal with that C7E has been nerfed a little bit in recent history, but it's still a monster of a weapon in the right hands, and you can use that tool to devastating effect. But I mean, I think it's just another one where you might see these ways in which they can try and force early gunfights, because that seems to be really what they want to go for, taking early gunfights, picking up players early. And while they took early gunfights in their defensive half, they just never really ended up in their favor. I think a big reason for that is the information that attackers have available to them, which really assists them in those gunfights. When they're on the attacking side, you can see, well, can they keep up the pace? Can they keep their usage of those tools just as effectively?
It's possible that we're gonna see the Valkyrie right now in the defense. I don't think we've seen it until now. Maybe just because of the playstyle of the team, but definitely possible we're gonna see Valkyrie. Just gonna bring a lot of vital information. And on the attack, again, that Jackal and that Lion and unorthodox operators who are similar to that, they just bring opportunities to the team on the attack to just make go more for individual plays, rely a bit less on droning, maybe rely a bit less on refrag potential, and just go for these, aggressive crouch walks and individual plays.
Maybe that would make operators like the Capcan, the Legion, maybe even some Frost. We saw one Pogmat come in from Volgara, who was able to catch out Blue. But we'll have to see if that is reciprocated by Carlstad Kings as well. We're just setting up the lobby, getting the players back in. I think we're still having a little bit of difficulty getting in. Quick reminder of what we saw so far, just making sure everything came through. There will be no access to that Cade nor that mirror for Carlstad Kings on their defensive side of things. I think that will open up some interesting avenues where we'll just have to wait and see what they come up with, what they can brew with their defensive setups. That mirror obviously wasn't missed on the side of Volgara, but maybe Carlstad would have had some ideas, and it can be a very powerful operator at holding down some of these longer corridors that you see on Chalet.
Yeah, in Chalet, you have a lot of these longer hallways and corridors, and you have a lot of these sneaky spots that the attackers can go through, and that leaves a lot of potential for flanking and the defenders to play with that. But the attackers as well, they can go for an unusual crouch walk or jump in some window. Like, let's say, for example, that piano window. I think we've seen Doki on the very first playday of VUL on Chalet. I think
Mm.
we've seen him just jump in that piano window and make these kind of plays on with the buck. So it doesn't really matter what operator you're running. It's just that Chalet allows you to do a lot of these weird rush aggressive individual plays on the attack. And just because the defenders they still didn't figure out how the map plays out, what are the possible potential entry points for the attackers that they might not be expecting or thinking about as much, and they just didn't experience in scrims.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why Chalet is such a powerful map for attackers, is because you have so many options available to you. However, we're still running some issues and still isn't quite able to join us. I think he's having some difficulties on his end, but they have 10 minutes before their rehost is over. Their technical pause will end. And at that point, it will, well, be a miserable end to the evening, as they would have to forfeit Chalet. We'd have to hope it doesn't come to that, because, well, we love to bring you quality siege, and I'm sure these rounds, of you found them as enjoyable as we have been great spectacle to watch. especially, I mean, just seeing some of the ways in which Carlstad Kings have explored the attacking options and demonstrated how you can set up on executes and play out maps very well. But we'll just have to wait and see. We're still just trying to get players in the lobby. So here's what we're going to do very quickly. A fun little thought here, Leo. If you had to guess the end score from this position, what's your prediction for how this match is going to play out?
I usually don't like to do predictions, but I feel like we're going for a 7-4 direction here for Carlstad. They just look more dominant to me. It looks like they understand the map a bit more, and I'm just expecting them to come out with a win here pretty comfortably on Chalet.
That's really interesting, and I think there are a couple of the bomb sites which will lean very favorably to Carlstad Kings. Specifically, some of these bomb sites, like the top floor, where you're playing a long vertical stretch. Bar gaming, you're often playing upstairs in library and having that long horizontal stretch playing right across up to master bedroom. And I think that favors them just because they have this. They seem to be very willing to give up space and play off of each other on their attacks, but it's a little bit of a shame as it looks like we aren't going to be. Are we going to be able to get the game in? I think Carlsad are still having their issues.
That would be an unfortunate end to the evening. Hopefully, it doesn't come to it. Honestly, Karlstad has really impressed me with how they execute onto site and how they attack. Um, it's really impressive for a team at this level to just understand the map this deeply. They have a very deep understanding of how the map is played out. They play very carefully. They make sure they synergize together. They use their nays and their utility together on the attack. And I'm really expecting to see how they do on the defense.
Yeah, I think, there's just always the option available to them. And Karlstad, like you said, they have looked very, very good on their attacks. And I really hope we get to see this consistency continue through Talent League R6 as they will play out their journey. And if they can, I think they have a really good shot of reaching that playoffs and putting a good run in, challenging all the teams above them. And we've seen some fantastic plays. It was actually Chalet where we saw Askell go absolutely huge against Noetic on that defensive half. We'll just have to wait and see what's happening. A couple of complications have arisen, and we will get you as much clarity and transparency as we can when we have that information available to us. The teams just so the okay. So the game has been forfeited. Chalet is over, and we'll be moving on to Villa instead, which is, well, a little bit interesting. It was definitely Carlstad who had the commanding position there, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, sadly we got that confirmation. Sometimes it just happens, technical issue, a player's connection doesn't work, or any other thing, and hopefully they'll just get it up and running and it'll work fine for the next map. I just hope that we'll be able to see some beautiful siege tonight. I mean, I really enjoyed what we've seen so far,
Mm,
and I hope it doesn't end that way. Hopefully we're gonna see a second map here, and Karlstad, it's possible you got very lucky here, so you better use it right now on Villa and make sure that's a 2-0. Make sure it's worth it. Sorry, Volgara and Karlstad will need to make sure that you know they bring the second map back.
absolutely. It's going to
Fortunate.
be, like I said, it is unfortunate, but Villa is a map which can feel a little bit similar in that there's quite a long stretch horizontally. I think if we can take anything from the game we just watched by Carlsday Kings, their ability to play right across the map can be very consistent on their pushes and very coordinated. Should be able to pay dividends on Villa, and maybe we'll see a similar start. I'll have to wait and see though. But what are your immediate thoughts on this? I mean, how are you expecting Villa to play out from what we've seen on the first attacking half from the
I
first game?
mean, yeah, Villa is a bit different just because, I mean, it's similar in some ways. A lot of maps in Siege are very similar to each other, but Villa is very different in the sense of it's very established. The meta is quite established. Teams know how to defend it. They know what every staircase leads to and what potential it holds. what are the possible flanks, what are the possible angles. It's very hard to discover new things on Villa in terms of how you approach your gunfight and how you approach your flank. All of that has been discovered already. All of the players that play at this level, they already have the game sense and understanding to just kind of feel out the map. They know when what is coming, and it's gonna be a bit different here. But I feel like we could see possibly. I'm rooting for Carlstad right now just because of that unfortunate end on Chalet. And besides that, they just really impressed me on Chalet. I feel like they have the better coordination. Obviously, we didn't see Volgara on the attack, so I don't know. Maybe they would have attacked it really well, and we would have seen a flawless attack. Would have been a great win for them, but we will never know. They get the win regardless, and we're gonna move on to Villa. But again, Volgara just doesn't look as cohesive to me. It doesn't look like they synergize as well, and they're just not going for a very consistent play style, right? And I feel like that's what they're lacking right now against Carlstad, and Carlstad is just denying everything that Volgara throws at them. So any aggressive kind of play, any kind of weird Koyu shield or weird C4 or spawn peak that will catch them off guard, they're just dealing great with it, right? And the communication looks great from them, as you saw that Goyo shield, right? The burn came in, the nade came in right after. Like they didn't waste any time for that ADS to reset. There was no delay at all. That Goyo shield exploded immediately, and that's why you just can't make these kind of plays against Carlstad right now. And hopefully they play on Villa the same way, and I expect the same kind of playstyle.
Yeah, I think it is really interesting, like sure how people know Villa very well because well, Villa came into the competitive rotation when it came out on its launch back in season three, year three, season two, Parabellum, and it's been a mainstay, a very popular map amongst the top tier of teams ever since. Really, I think it's very interesting that it comes from almost like a different era of Siege where people enjoyed the new map, they tested out the new maps. Since then, we saw Fortress, we saw Outback, which never really found the same competitive viability. Villa just seemed perfect.
Yeah, and what I love about Villa is just that although it's already discovered and people know how to play it, it still feels fresh. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? When you watch a Villa game, it always feels fresh. It doesn't feel like, oh, I've watched this 1,000 times, right? It's not like on a club when you know exactly what's gonna happen. You really watched that 1,000 times. You know what's gonna happen. It's all basically written and it's like a script on a club, and then it's whatever team just hits their shots or communicates the best, or plays the better game. But on Villa there's a bit more room for individual play than on a map like club or a map like, let's say, maybe Oregon. But then at the same time there's still strategy there. There's still a lot of things that you can make just from making sure that you're playing together as a team and you're playing smart, that just gives Villa that great mix in the middle between being frag centric and a strategic map, right? And that's why for me it's always exciting when teams go to Villa. I feel like a team that is good on Villa is good on a lot of other maps just because you need to be good at so many things on Villa to be a really great Villa team.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that's also really interesting is, well, we saw that they were someone on Carlstad Kings, not someone as in someone as in the someone, was bringing that zero every single round since Nomad was off the table. And if Nomad's going to be gone on Villa, Nomad's very popular on Villa. She's very easy to hold down these staircase flanks. With her off, if they have shown already that they can use zero in very flexible manner, where they can use him to hold their flanks for them as well, that should give them a real edge up on this very aggressive side of Volgara. Volgara on the inside, we never were able to quite see what they had planned on their attacks, whether that Nomad change is going to be a deal breaker for them because, well, they do seem a lot more aggressive when we saw them playing very far forward, very aggressively, taking gunfights and having pretty good success in the ones that they chose to when they weren't caught out by roamers or angles being held from a distance. And that's kind of where the playstyle differential seems to come through between these two lineups. But again, we'll just have to wait and see for the game to get underway. We're still running into a couple problems getting the fifth player for Carlstar Kings back inside of our lobby. There's a couple technical difficulties that are continuing to perpetuate. 11 minutes. So that as the information is being relayed, 11 minutes is left on the timer, but we are trying to see if the coach from Carlstad Kings is able to come in and fill in a spot. As Instill's difficulties appear to not be able to come in any time soon, although it's looking in a difficult position. Production are giving me the message to give to you that the coach is not actually registered to play in the league and will therefore not be eligible for the match. So if the issue continues to perpetuate with Instill, then unfortunately, Carlstad Kings, who looked so strong, will have to take another forfeit loss on this Villa, which is really a shame because, well, both Chalet and Villa are very fun maps to watch, and it would have been nice to see them. But I have no doubt that if the worst comes to worst, there's still hope we can hold out a little bit longer. Don't worry just yet. But if our worst nightmares come to fruition, then we will have to wait for another playday to see the Carlstad Kings continue, and Volgara will pick up 2 wins. And we'll have to wait to see them play again to see what they're actually truly made of. We only got to see 6 rounds of both these teams, and not enough to really tell the successes of a season from.
Yeah, it's gonna be very unfortunate if this night ends today, just now, without Villa, without Chalet even being over, with such a great performance from Carlstad. It's just very unfortunate for them. And come on, guys, just get this guy on 4G or something. Like, make sure he hops on something. We want to see him play.
Hotspot him. Well, looks like they are trying to get their sub on board, who has been registered ahead of time as far as we are aware. And that would give them the ability to play out Villa. That Chalet game is in the books, it is all settled. There we go. We have the sub player in the lobby, if I'm not mistaken. Spoinken. Spoinken is going to be subbing in, saving the day for Carlstad Kings as they move on to Villa, but Instill is definitely a massive loss as he was the one piloting that Yana, which you successfully highlighted, Leo, the success that they had with that operator and the influence that the Yana was able to wield over the rounds that we saw get played out. Those frag grenades as well as those Geminis putting in massive work for the information game, utility game, and also with the good use of that G36C, it would pick up kills on those roamers.
It's more than that, Golo. It's more than that. It's really unfortunate just because Karlstad as a team, they're so coordinated. They're so good at playing together and making sure that they're not relying on these individual plays. They're winning as a team, right? Every single round when they won as a team. That it's bringing in the sub can really just break that chemistry, right? It can really be just more than we just swapping out a player for them specifically, right? Because they're not like Volgara, right? They're not relying on these individual plays. For Volgara to swap out a player wouldn't be such a big deal as long as that player can frag and can hold himself in the lobby, right? But for Karlstad, the player that didn't practice with them doesn't know what they like to do on the map, how they like to play. It's just gonna be very difficult for them. That's what I think, and hopefully they prove me wrong here. And they show us a good game on Villa. I just hope that it's not gonna be a one-sided stomp here, and that they will indeed be able to play well.
Yeah, we are just waiting for confirmation that Carlstad Kings will be ready to launch into Villa, but I think they're just setting themselves up with this substitution coming in. Does mean we will get to see the second map of today's match. And it's going to be Villa. Should be interesting. But like you said, losing that player, losing that built up synergy is definitely going to hurt. And it changes up a lot of how this game will be played out. Maybe we'll see some more plays coming through where we have to rely a little bit more on the individual efforts. We'll have to see what Spoinken can bring to the table.
I don't know if it's the IGL on the team who's having the problems, but the IGL, wherever he is, if he's still in the lobby, he will need to make sure that these players they know what they need to go through, and what they need to basically make happen in the server to win this match, right? Because you're not gonna play your normal setups. Probably you're not gonna run your normal strats unless they're quite simple and easy to explain fast. Um, you need to make sure that you're relying somewhat on more individual plays here, yeah. And that requires a bit more micromanaging from the IGL. He needs to make sure that the sub knows what's going on. Again, I don't know who they're subbing out. I don't know if it's just a regular player or the in-game captain IGL or whatever. I'm just saying that hopefully it's not their in-game leader, and he will be able to kind of give that feedback and guide the substitute player and maybe the other players in the team.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like Carlstad Kings are in fact also ready to join Volgara on Villa for map number 2 of today's game, game number 3 of playday number 1 of Talent League R6. And we'll be launching up into today's game. And here we go. We're treated to some more Villa. I'm looking forward to it. A little bit of a break from the action, but now we're going to be back rolling with it again. And I'm sure we'll be in for some great plays that we continue to see from that Chalet half. It will be Carlstad Kings starting on the defense and Volgara picking up the mantle of attack.
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of cards that we're gonna see right now in the defense. If they're maybe gonna just, go for these individual aggressive plays on Villa, or maybe they're gonna actually lean towards their strats and towards their more structured playstyle. Perhaps we'll be able to read and get something out of these bans right now. Looks like they're gonna ban out the Thatcher. That's a pretty normal ban for the team who's starting on the defense on any map right now in the meta. Just Thatcher, just such a strong operator right now, so oppressive and so easy to get rid of utility and any kind of gadgets, right? So maybe they are leading for a normal playstyle for textbook for what they're practicing. I'm not sure what we see a class ban here. Hello.
Yeah, that's a little bit more interesting. Glaz is an operator we don't see very often. He's been a little bit of an underrepresented operator at the highest tiers since his nerf way back when he lost the banana scope if he wasn't standing still. Although he has had some changes to him in recent seasons, which have made him a little bit stronger, a little bit more viable if you build a team correctly around him. Volgara deciding that maybe there's a chance that Carlstad Kings bring it to the table. Maybe there's a chance that they just want to go for a more quirky man, keep things interesting. As Clash is going to get removed by Carlstad, Mira was being the other operator on the defensive end, removed from the play by Volgara.
For me, Clash is a more of a standard one. Obviously, Mirror is a standard ban, but Glass. When have you ever seen a Glass ban? I don't think I've ever seen one. Not wait. When Glass was really dominant in the meta, were bans still around back then? I don't think there were bans. No, no, it was the
Bans was
Ying.
not a thing until Lion.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So I don't think I've ever seen a Glass ban. So they either have some information, maybe from scrims, maybe some other kind of information about the enemy team here, because I don't know why you would ban Glass.
There's the Montaigne being picked out by Juan, and that was an operator which, way back when, before the game had even begun, you highlighted as an operator which is incredibly powerful on Villa if used in the correct hands. And we'll see if Juan's hands are in fact correct. Because they're setting themselves up instead of Bar Gaming, Aviator Bar. I forget what the room's actually called, but it has a bar and a pool table.
Yeah, Aviator and Bar. I think that's the correct. Oh,
Yeah, I do believe.
okay. That's a bit unfortunate. They're
Area.
starting the first round in the 4v5 already.
Mm.
Hopefully, they'll be able to make something out of it. Um. Anyway, yeah, that Monty can be like so strong on Villa, just because if Monty plays it correctly, he can take so much map control on Villa in such a fast pace. And as long as he makes sure that he communicates well with his team and he makes sure that someone is pushing in behind him, sometimes you don't even need someone behind you just because the defenders are so scared because they know someone is probably behind you. Um, you can take map control so fast. Looks like someone is just gonna go for a very aggressive peek here, and he's gonna put a lot of damage onto Cold Cobra, and maybe that's what they need right now in that 4v5. A lot of damage on the Nomad, and another team kill is gonna come in on the Monty. Looks very fortunate for Carlstad right now, as that C4 is gonna come in as well and gonna take out the IQ, and it's a 4v2 practically a 4v2, a 4v3, but a 4v2 because look at that Nomad's HP.
Well, Jeff is a bit of a problem on that Lion as he's taken out his teammate Juan. That's the Montaigne gone off the table. An advantage back in Carlstad Kings after that early kill went very much in favor of Volgara, with the team kill having to come through. Fluvio is also off the board as well, but a quick drop by Jeff as he takes out the Vine, causing problems for both types of play.
Wow, that's a very important play there from Jeff onto the Bandit. That was really important to make it, and he brought it back right now for his team. Again, a 3v3 situation, and now it's doable. They're feeling like, okay, guys, we have some map control here. Maybe we don't have the Monty. It's not what we planned on, but we have a lot of map control here to work with, and we know where they're playing. Let's start droning. Let's start getting this additional map control. Looks like someone is gonna contest the Melusi. Someone, that's a funny name. He's gonna contest 90 here towards that Nomad, and she knows how low she is. She's not gonna contest him. He will peek the window here very aggressively, and Lion Jeff is gonna chip a bit of HP from the Melusi as he repels on that window, and it will give the attackers the 90 window. So a minute on the clock here. They'll try to break into Volt here, and if they'll be able to do that, I think there's a very possible execute here in this 3v3 scenario.
Yeah, and as we hit these dying 45 seconds, Shock with that hard breacher hasn't opened up Volt yet. Instead, he's going for the push, but Askell, playing inside of Study, is undetected. He'll pick up the first kill on Shock there in this execute. That's the Thermite going down. Diffuser dropped on that Vault door position as a quick swing coming out from Cold Cobra, I believe, is going to hit Askell in the shoulder, do a little bit of chip damage. Ultimately, it's not too bad as Spoinken is going to return to the lobby after correcting his skin issue. But 20 seconds, Blue going down to Cold Cobra with the shotgun, and someone taking out Jeff to secure the round. That's each of them in that 3 versus 3 picking up a kill from Carlstad Kings. And, well, they've secured the first round of play.
Wow, that's a great round from Carlstad. So much dominance. A 4v5. They said, no, we don't care that you have a Monty. Put him in front of your players. Team kill that Monty. We're going to see for another one of you. Chip so much HP off that Nomad. Basically, they're just showing that they're here to play. It doesn't matter if they have a sub on the team or not. They just want to win, you know. And after that devastating loss that they basically had to forfeit on Chalet, obviously they came here to prove something. They want to prove that they're the better team. They feel like they deserve that win on Chalet, and they just came in here to Villa to play. You know, they came in here to win.
Absolutely, and I think this is a really interesting attacking lineup coming here. We saw that Oryx gets swapped into the Valkyrie, but look at the other side. You have the Jackal, the Ying, the Lion being brought once again by Jeff. And this is going to be really interesting because, well, these are operators who have a little bit of flair. They have some sort of special abilities to them. Those Candela's charges can be so powerful when dropped in the right situation. You have a lot of smokes on the board. On the side, you mean, well, it's actually Thermite bringing the stuns, so only the 4 smoke counters between Juan and Ifluvio. Could have been 6 though, but we'll have to see how this plays out on a kitchen hold. Instead, not going for that trophy statue, which is quite a popular sight.
Golo, did we or did we not speculate that Volgara's playstyle on the attack is probably gonna be that Ying, Lion, Jackal playstyle? I just want to highlight that one. How well we predicted them. They play their defense, and we already knew how they're gonna play the attack. But besides that, we're gonna go an attack here towards Trophy, I believe. Oh no, it's gonna be Kitchen. All right, so that Ying can be very useful. It just depends on how he's gonna use it, right? Ying is a very tricky operator to, well, operate, because you have to communicate really well with your team towards the execute, make sure that they're not flashed. You're flashing only the enemy team, and looks like we're gonna go for some sort of a rush here, as we're not going for any map control at all, as Jackal is gonna stay outside of Memo window and he's gonna put some pressure, and Melusi is gonna wait actually in Laundry. I'm not too sure if they know that Melusi is there, and as they go for this rush, Askell might get a few heads.
Well, he can't quite hit the shots. Never mind, he corrects his mistake, but the time he spent on that Thermite will cost him dearly, as Juan on the repeat able to catch him out. These Candelas bouncing into sight now, giving someone a difficult position, but he's able to find one. Fluvio through the smoke is going down. It's going to be Juan sticking that diffuser in the doorway. The shots from Spoinican going all the way around him. That's terrible for him. That was so incredibly close, but the plant will go down. However, Juan is going to get injured, meaning there's only 2 players left. Spoinican picks up Jeff, leaving just Cold Cobra in play. Divine trying to stick that diffuser. The Nitrocell coming over the top of the wall by Blue. And that will shut Cold Cobra out. They don't quite realize, nope, they found him. Juan is down. They get him with a shotgun.
Wow.
The retake from Carlstad Kings was phenomenal.
What a crazy round. That's a crazy round. These are the kind of rounds that you love to see. Bringing that Ying, making sure that they're executing onto the side with those flashes, putting that plan down, and the retake was just an incredible round overall to watch. And Karlstad, again, just coming out on top here, making sure that they're dominant, making sure that they're winning those important gunfights. And Volgara just not careful enough here. A bit more droning, a bit more map control. It's okay that you're taking the Ying. I'm not against it. I think it can work really well, but you need a bit more map control to work with, or at least a bit more information, right? There's no way that you're letting that Melusi hide in a corner and get your thermite. That's just not something that you can just let them do, right? They're hiding in corners just like you did on defense, but I would argue they're doing it better just because they won two defenses in a row already and looks way more dominant to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're seeing iFluvio now hovering back to his Ash, a very signature pick for him. And it's one that I have a couple memories of seeing him go absolutely ham on. I remember a specific one individually. Now, it would have to have been on Oregon on a bunker push. And he solo pushed in, took out the player on elbow, pushed into the rotation hole, took out a player, and Freezer took out the rotation player, completely won the round for his team. And I think that's a highlight play for me from iFluvio. We're seeing Juan picking up this Sophia and the Yana coming into play in the pocket of Jeff, which suggests we're seeing a return to normality in operators, but I still expect them to come with a bit more flamboyant.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for here? Flamboyant assaults. I mean, they're just going to be a little bit more. I can't quite figure out how to describe it. But just, they're going to be Volgara. They're going to be very much themselves. I think
Definitely.
Volgara can now be an adjective. I don't think that anyone's going to contest it on this one.
Definitely. Looks like Ash is gonna push here very swiftly here towards Aviator, and she sees that there is no control here. There is a player in Volt. I'm not too sure if she's aware, but there are reinforcements there. There is utility, and I'm not sure where the defenders are playing right now. There's a Vigil alone in Volt, and looks like he's gonna be thrown out. He will need to play aggressively here on the curve, and he's gonna be taken out by Quan. Great shot there, and another entry by Ash. 5v3 already and a lot of map control here.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be interesting as a quick push by Fluvio is going to get quickly shut down. Divine with that FO12 in hand, going to take out the Ash, but it's just Askell and Divine left as Jeff is going to take out Divine. Askell with the Nitrocell below going to take out Shock, leaving him in the 1 versus 3 with site control in hands of the attackers. It's going to be Jeff putting down that defuse. They know exactly where Askell is located. He's trying to find his way back in, but it's going to become a post-plant situation. 3 to find, and it's going to be Cold Cobra picking him out first. No one else is going to go down, and that's sort of the first round going in favor of Volgara now. As well, maybe they've just decided to turn things on. They want to get these round wins under their belt.
Wow, what a great round from the Zofia and the Ash. There are Fluvio and the Zofia, Juan, I believe, they did such a great job at entering into the site swiftly. Great drone work, droning out that Vigil, making sure that they know that he's alone. No one else is on 90 contesting. Zofia is just so comfortable peeking onto that curvy angle on top of the main stairs towards that Vigil. He has to take the gunfight at that point because he knows that there's probably a player in Aviator and he knows there's a player on Long. So he needs to kill one of them right now and contest the other. He's picking one and he's not even able to win the first gunfight, let alone the Ash, who later on just pushes into Trophy, rushes in, and just gets another pick on the side. That basically opened up the entire round for them.
Absolutely, and now they're returning to the first site, which they were successful on that Aviator Games, where we saw them begin their journey. No team kill coming out onto Spoinkin here. He has fixed his skin issue. It will not be anything else to write home about. But the Capcan on the board again on Askell, they're running back the same strategy. Will they see the same success? That Montaigne is no longer in play from Volgara.
Yeah, I don't think it was a secret. I don't think it's a secret to anyone that that Monty play was just not successful for Volgara at all. They team killed the Monty. If anything, it was just a determinant for them. It just wasn't that useful. Looks like communication just wasn't there. I don't think Volgara is that kind of team. I feel like they need to go a bit more for these individual exciting plays, like that Ash and that Zofia running into the building, making sure that defenders don't even know what's hitting them when it does. Right? I feel like that's where they shine. That's where they shine on defense as well. And that's what they need to bring here into this match on Villa if they want to come out with the advantage on the attack and possibly a win here towards the end of the map. And Carlstad, they need to make sure that their defense is solid. They know where the attackers are coming from. They need to have bring a bit more information. And as I said, that Jaeger is gonna get the first pick onto the Zofia. That's your entry fragger. That's Juan, the guy who opened up the last round, and Shock is not having a great map overall as well, with a 0-4 score line right now. And that's your Harbage as well going. Well, he's basically dead right now, and Nomad as well, 5v2 already, and Carlstad is just hitting back. They're answering, this is our map, we're gonna take this.
Yeah, they're looking very dominant, and a lovely shot from Spoink and the substitute. Gonna pick up a triple kill in this round, doing a great job as Fluvio trying to push his way through study, trying to find an opening, but it's going to be someone coming across him. First of all, a flawless round going in favor of Carlstad
Wow.
Kings. And, well, that was a little bit of a shutout from them. And, well, that Aviator site looked a lot more dominant when they had that presence of the Jaeger playing on that main staircase. Spoiken.
Wow,
What a...
what a great round from the Jaeger.
Yeah. I mean, he
Really
just played so
amazing.
well in
I
that
mean,
position.
yeah, he played it really well. He got a lot of picks, really important picks. He got the opening frag. For the viewers who are maybe not aware, when you get the opening frag, the first blood, whatever you want to call it, in the round, your statistically your chances to win the round are just way higher. Even if you're traded, usually when you're trading a Jaeger for a Zofia, it's just so much more in the advantage of the defense there, just because the Jaeger already uses utility. There's no way he has an ADS in his pocket, and that Zofia she probably didn't use to both of her drones at this point, and she still has both of her impact, both of her stuns most likely, and in general, that's a gun that you need for execute on Villa. So yeah, that's such an important frag there. And then picking up more and more frags as they came in and try to clear him on the main stairs there. Just such an important round there. And if your sub is putting in such a shift, maybe it's not as bad as I imagine, and maybe they're just gonna come out here with a dominant win in a dominant fashion. I guess we're gonna wait and see, but a 3-1 already looks great for them.
Also follows a similar pattern from the first half of the Chalet game, where it was 2 rounds for Carlstad, with Volgara picking one up. Maybe we'll see a second element to that again, with 2 more rounds, with the last round of the half being picked up by Volgara. History to repeat itself, maybe, as a missed Nitro Cell will not connect with Shock. He'll be able to move away, but it's interesting that Juan has now moved onto that hard bridge, picking up the Ace. First time we've seen Ace come through, we've seen both the Thermite and the Habana get played out a little bit. Have we seen Habana? We've seen Habana get played out a little bit.
Yeah, I think we've seen Ibana. Yeah, Shock played the Ibana last
Yeah,
time
exactly.
around, last round, and it didn't pan out as well. Looks like he's gonna swap with with Juan, because Juan was actually the player who played the Zofia. Enough about that. Shock again. He's gonna die. He's gonna be one of the entry frags, one of the end opening deaths. Sorry, and again, he's not having a great score line right now. I'm not too sure what the thinking was of moving him from Harbage to the Zofia, uh, but it doesn't really matter. It's not my call to make. But Ace is just such a dominant operator on Villa, and usually that's your primary Harbage that you're going to when you want to bring a Harbage on Villa. So it's actually interesting that they finally brought it, and I'm waiting to see if they'll be actually able to utilize it well. Right now, what I'm expecting is Fluvio to make some plays, because Karlstad, it looks like they have most of the map control here, and Spoin can again just contesting and contesting, right?
I mean, when you have that lesion, you have those goo mines generating over time, you can consistently chuck them out on the floor, just keep causing problems. Divine in another one, going to be picking up Ifluvia with that Nitro Cell. The information game here coming in massively as Colt Cobra now trying to push him with the drone of Juan available. That E1D coming through, but he's going to get caught out. Someone winning the gunfight on the staircase is Spoiken taking out Jeff. That's the ace as Ace Juan turns around, narrowly avoids the shots coming his way from the Lucy's going to keep swinging around the corner, picked up one. 4 more to find, though, would be an ace clutch, and he has a minute left on the round. To do so, he takes time just a little, but if it continues to tick down, then he'll be in a really rough spot. The information coming in from these Valkyrie Black cameras know exactly where he is, as he's trying to rotate around into cover. He gets outside onto that balcony, takes a little bit of damage, vaulting through the window in the process, though, as he's trying to drop down, find an alternate angle, and see if there's another way for him to approach this. The defense, getting very aggressive. Maybe a rotate all the way around, but it's going to be the Mozzie. What are you doing, someone? Running outside, giving away a pick onto Juan. A nice little stat pad for him, but this also gives him a better opportunity to clutch out the round. 27 seconds. It's going to get rough as he detonates the breaching charge. They're going to know he's coming from this staircase, but ultimately what more choice to have? There's all 3 of them, I believe, watching that way as a goo mine hits him as well. This day is going from bad to worse for him. He now has to try and push through with 10 seconds left. 3 to find, 1 flanking him from behind as he sets that thermal on the wall. Maybe that will force the shotgun holding Mute out the corner, but it forces him out the corner just into his tights. And it'll be Blue with that shotgun picking up the final kill, securing the round for his team, taking this one home. And it's 4-1 so far as we move on to the last round of the half.
And again, looks like we're having a similar pattern here to Chalet. Just that this time Carlstad is playing on the defense and is doing the exact same thing on the defense, just with a substitute. So you gotta wonder here what Volgara is doing wrong, because this game is just not going well for them. I just wanted to highlight how Carlstad plays here. The contrast between both teams here, from Chalet and Villa, right? The way we saw Volgara play the defense on Chalet is just so different from the way that we see Carlstad play the defense on Villa. They're bringing in that Valkyrie. As I said, they have to take the Caveira, of course. But come on. 5 rounds, they're bringing in that Valkyrie. They're bringing in those more traditional picks, that Mozzie, those C4s. Their plays are more conventional, besides that 1 round when they played a 4v5, but of course they have to go for the spawn picks. And that C4 was pretty traditional, if I may say so myself. There was nothing crazy about it, and I'm all up for crazy picks like crazy shield setups like Goyos and Oryx, but in Siege, you need a reason for everything that you're doing, right? So if you're bringing those special operators or special picks that are not traditional, you need to have a reason behind that. Why you're bringing that operator, what's the strategy? Maybe your particular player that is playing that operator is just really good at it, and you're expecting him to individually perform, which we didn't see from Volgara, by the way, or maybe just a strat that, well, they didn't execute, but I don't think it's either of those. I'm not too sure what the reasoning here is, but someone on the Caveira, I'm sure that Carlstad, they have a purpose to this Caveira right now, because they haven't touched any of these strange operators until now, and that Caveira is gonna lurk right now in basement, so they definitely have a game plan here moving forward.
Ooh, quick shots taking onto Askell from Jeff even picked up the Mantle of Ash. They're trying to find some early access, rotating themselves around, trying to get control of Mud so they can start to work their way through onto site. Expecting a push down in the basement, though, I think they've found the feet of someone, Juan, on that Jackal, going to be used very effectively. It isn't someone that's been found, I don't believe, and if it is, that silent step ability that Caveira has will hide her location away. Juan now trying to watch out. I think they've given up on this flank, but Ifluvio is going to pick up the first kill onto Spoinken. He's done so much work for his team as the super sub, but eventually it will run out. As it's now Ifluvio taking that control of Mud with the G8 in hand, trying to pin Askell down into this corner. He has that bathroom rotation, I believe, available to escape if he needs to, but throwing out the Nitro Cell is going to do a great job. No, it won't. It won't quite connect. Ifluvio able to fall back in perfect timing. Someone, though, still hiding away on this flank. I think there's an air jab in position, but otherwise there's no one paying too much attention. If this gets caught out, both Juan and Shock have their rears exposed to that interrogation potential. The site still trying to be breached as Jeff is able to find a second kill. That's Blue going down now. Ella no longer in play. There's now 2 members left in the site, trying to slow things down. Jeff, another one onto Askel. He's done great jobs as Fluvio swings into sight, picks up a double of his own. And Juan was holding that flank on someone. They did, in fact, know, and that's a flawless round for Volgara as they see out the end of this half. That air jab was not able to be removed by someone. Unfortunate there, but Juan, good awareness of the situation around him. I'll end the half 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2 indeed. Just like on Chalet, this time hopefully we're not gonna have any players drop out of the match, and we'll actually be able to finish out the map. But again, Carlstad at an advantage, 4-2. I'd say it's a great split for them on the defense here, and they're gonna head into attack here pretty confident. I don't think they're gonna have any issues. Villa is not as defender sided as it used to be. It is defender sided for a lot of teams right now, and the lower you go in the level of siege and the level of competitive play, the more defender sided it becomes, in my personal opinion. But also it depends on how the play styles of each team, right, and how they basically stand one against another. And in this case, it's possible that Carlstad will just be able to bait Volgara out, bait these aggressive plays out, make sure that they rush onto them or flank them, and they will get the first pick for the first couple of picks, and only then they will focus on sight. Villa is one of those maps that you can definitely uh, play a bit of a rat game on the attack. You can maybe hide in some corners. You can sneak up on a defense. You can do some unexpected things. But if Carlstad chooses to, they can definitely go back to that execution-heavy playstyle that they did on Chalet. So it just really depends right now on how Volgara and Carlstad play this. But I feel like Carlstad is just gonna play this one a bit better than Volgara did on the attack, but I guess we're gonna wait and see. Looks like we're gonna extend a little bit towards bedroom here from Aviator, and possibly a top red stairs hold. I'm not too sure what they're gonna do here. And Jeff is gonna play in bedroom here. All right, that's a pretty late spawn pick. I'm not too sure if that's gonna work out, Jeff. And he's gonna head back towards the side or towards landing.
Yeah, rotating those magnets around as he realizes there is no pressure there. It's all coming in from this main lobby through study area, and they want to, in fact, prioritize their gadgetry as one should. It's a wonderful way to rotate abilities. It's a brilliant part of Siege, and if you could make the best of it, you definitely should. Malusi now playing on this back staircase. Shock will be the first point of contact if Divine continues to push. Someone bringing up that Ash, no longer on the zero, which we saw being used on Chalet, instead favoring a bit more aggressive, a bit more explosive utility. And with a Goyo and Malusi on the board, you really can't blame them.
Definitely, and it looks like Carlstad is going for a one-sided study take here, and as Asquel is gonna take main stairs by himself. He's gonna try to go for the snake from below with the help of Ash and Zofia, and their goal right now is to take on main stairs. If they manage to do that, then great. They're gonna probably take study control, and that's executed on the side, and Jeff, the nade is gonna hit and gonna chip a lot of damage, but Jeff, he's gonna catch both attackers below main stairs. What a great play from him. Wow. Someone he's gonna trade, but it's a bit too late right now. Someone should have been watching that main stairs, someone.
And it's unfortunate because that's a wonderful play by Jeff that's going to cost Carlstad Kings greatly, as they now have 54 seconds to find a way upstairs. They haven't yet been able to take control of that main stairs, although, however, that Wamai going down will open that avenue for assault. They're instead choosing to go for red stairs. Shock getting up that ground, playing further back. He understands what is at risk here, and he knows that by playing his time, putting a further angle back, it just slows down the assault even more. Blue also trying to join up with his team. Can't quite get rid of that shield, however, because it's being caught out. Shock dropping downstairs through the hatch on 90 corner means he's going to rotate all the way around, come up their flank. They don't have the time to even stop to contest this. They just have to push in, as the plant is going down behind Vault Door. The smoke grenade was not dropped properly, and the second one dropped a little bit too late. They will be able to get the plant down at the cost of Spoinked and Blue, and it's going to be someone going immediately down to Shock on that flank. So despite getting the plant down, the post plant, I mean, everything came through at such perfect timing to completely close Carlstad Kings out the round. And, well, Volgara winning that first round of their defensive half.
Yeah, Jeff's back, I would say what happened there on the main stairs that Nate came in, did so much damage, but no one has been watching for that player to come down the staircase. I mean, someone needs to be watching that. You can't be sprinting back and forth and expecting that Nate to just kill him. I mean, it doesn't have a guiding sensor towards the Wamai, right? Like you need to watch those main stairs, and because of that, he managed to go down the main stairs, basically kill two players on 180 opposite angles to each other as they both peek him at the same time. The Zofia or the Ash sprinting through, and the other player on the main stairs peeking after for a trade and just not managing to get it. Right, so that's a crucial mistake there. Carl said they need to get on top of things here because they have the right idea. They knew where the player was playing. They knew how to use their utility. Just that a bit more communication, a bit more coordination there, and I feel like that round could have went entirely in a different direction. But that's not the case right now. Volgara with their aggressive plays, it looks like it just works for them on defense.
Absolutely, and they just kept on catching Carlstad off guard with their plays, like you said, just playing so aggressively so far forward. Something we expected to see from them, and we saw from them the last time out on Chalet. But this time it's going to be Carlstad Kings. Now they've had that reminder of what is at stake here. They know what they're up against. Can they change up their tune? Either to match the aggression or just to play a bit more carefully around it. Is the deep Nitrocell coming through? Not going to quite land with Divine, sprinting away from that, and well, if he wasn't sprinting, he would have been caught out, and that would have been a brutal way to start this round.
Definitely. And that's the eternal question, right? As a competitive player, you always ask yourself, especially as an IGL or an in-game leader, but definitely every player on the team, they constantly ask themselves, do I play more aggressively here or a bit more passively? How do I play with my teammates right now? How do I match this other team's play style? And do I even try to match it? Or maybe I'm just trying to go around it, right? So it looks like Carlstad is just going to go a bit more for map control here. They're not going to go directly onto the side. They will decide to clear a bit more this time. Not a one-sided take as last time. And as Askel is going to scale towards 90 here from the top of the main stairs, we're gonna watch this clear as it pans out. I mean, there's a mutual on the wall here, and they won't be able to clear it out without a nade. So if they want to breach this wall, oh, Nomad will catch the run in from the mute, and another trade onto Ash there on top of Curve. Jeff again with the flanks. Interesting trades going back and forth here, but the HP on the attacker side right now doesn't look too good as Divine is going down, and we're essentially in a 4v2 situation right now.
Yeah, and with Spoinkin going down, Sedge off the table, it leaves Blue in that 1 versus 4 as finally Shock will claim his injure, adding to his kill tally. Blue now 1 minute 20 on the clock, and at this point, well, nothing really went right for you in this round. You got that opening pick, someone picking up on that Nomad, taking out the mute and pushed aggressively around the corner, but well, it looks like Volgara have found their stride on this defensive half. They're playing so well on these roam games, aggressively as well. And it just feels like they're deeply at home. They're completely settled in. They found their lucky socks. They're wrapped up warm, and they are going to town on Carlstad Kings.
Yeah, for me, it really looks like Jeff right now is just making Carlstad really uncomfortable. On Chalet, they were just so confident and so good at executing onto the site because those flanks and those aggressive players that were going for these aggressive plays on these aggressive C4s, it just didn't pan out for them, right? They went for the aggressive peak, they shut it down immediately. They either throw a nade or they make them run away, make them back off, or they just get the kill immediately, right? But right now, it looks like maybe bringing in the sub, maybe that's what's missing. Maybe the fifth main player here, that synergy, that communication, maybe that's what's missing for Carlstad right now in the lobby. But it doesn't matter. They need to find a way to make up for it. They need to make sure that they have these flanks and these aggressive plays under control, right? They need to have it in check. Because if Jeff is just gonna keep pressuring them and he's gonna keep making them that uncomfortable, they wouldn't be able to execute onto side or to do any roam clear at all, right? They constantly need to watch their backs, need to be thinking right now, oh, is Jeff gonna push this staircase or is he gonna push that hallway, right? And as you saw, iFluvio just maybe he died first, right? But again, that aggression, it's just constantly gonna be in the back of your mind. Uh, are they gonna peak right now? Should I hold this angle? Right? You just have no peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, well, it's now Carlstad in that back foot because they haven't been able to put a round on the board on their attacking half yet. And they've never, well, they've always struggled to get into money positions. Even in that first round, in that last round, sorry, they got the opening pick. It quickly was traded back by Jeff. And then it all seems to fall apart. Trying now to get control of Master Bedroom upstairs, but with Juan on this pulse, a couple different nitro cells below as well, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to maneuver successfully. He throws one underneath the solid brick, not quite aware of where the boundaries are there on the floor.
A bit too early there. I mean, if you wait a little bit more, maybe you get the C4 into that Jackal, but he's gonna be aware. But another C4 might possibly come into play here. I'm not too sure, but Juan has the information. He knows the Jackal is in the closet, and he's gonna maybe wait for him to push into bedroom. I'm not too sure, but they still have 2 more C4s to play with. A lot of kill potential here with the C4s, and that's what they expect themselves to do right now in the kitchen with those 3 C4s, right? You bring in the pulse, and you're expecting to get something out of it. At least 1 kill, that's what I think.
Well, there we go. Spoinkin picking up Jeff. That's the Mozzie going down. It's Juan on the pulse. As another fight breaks out on this Astro staircase from Spoinkin as he's trying to now contest the Lucy shot, pushing up aggressively. As Askell picks up a quick double kill, taking out Fluvio, and well, everyone seems to fall apart as Blue gets in the action. Someone picks up shot. And a flawless round for Carlstad Kings. It looks like they're back after a little stumble. But you know what? Phoenix always rises from the ashes, and everyone just stormed into sight together. They completely caught Volgara by surprise. Fight fire with fire.
Wow. Spoinkin, he just stands out to me right now just because he was bringing back those round defense that it looked like Carlstad should have been losing, right? And right now on the attack, he killed Jeff, right? And Jeff, I was talking about it. He was that primary menace, right? That player who was constantly lurking or trying to make plays. And as soon as he killed him, it looked like so much pressure was alleviated from Carlstad, right? They just immediately went for execute onto the site. They don't care anymore. They know Jeff is dead, the Mozzie is dead. That's our pressure. That's like our cue to push on the side. And we're looking at a very similar execution to what we've seen on Chalet, right? Plant is not necessarily going down, but they're very confident pushing onto the side. They know their flanks are covered, and they're winning all of their gunfights on the side, and that's where they shine. That's how they won so many rounds attacking Chalet, and if they keep on doing this, I feel like it will just go their way.
I completely agree. That setup that time was so much cleaner from them when they had the position, like you said, just pushing in together, getting themselves in position for that plan. And well, now they know how to do it on Kitchen. They have to do it 2 more times if they want to win this map before overtime emerges. And well, with the 5-4 advantage, it's definitely very possible. But they now have to fight back against the sites which they previously lost out on. The corrections they need to make in setting themselves up for this Aviator and Games push.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see what Carlstad is going to do this round, because for me, definitely that one-sided push just kept something to be desired, you know? The Wamai was so aggressive on the main stairs, and it looked like they had some idea of what they want to do with this coordinated one-sided study push that it looks like they're going for again. Oh, and that early pick again from that ace, it's so important to iFluvio. iFluvio, it just looks like you're not having the best game right now. A lot of opening deaths for Volgara from iFluvio's side specifically. He's just running into their crosshairs. What happened there with the Selma? I'm not too sure.
He threw the Selma onto the top of the door, but he didn't need to shoot it. Oh well.
Yeah, maybe he could have picked it up, but either way, I guess he didn't care. Again, that ace, he has 3 Selmas. You don't really care. You don't need to breach that much. And Askell is going to go down to Jeff. Jeff, again, that menace. He's going to put that pressure on the attackers, and they know where he's playing right now. They're going to try to make something out of it, and he's going to try to run away, but the down. Oh, no. Jeff, he's going to fall down. Jackal knows it, and he's probably gonna finish it. That C4 setup, will that work? Oh no! Oh no, Spoinkin!
He managed to get the injure, his down teammate, giving him information on where players are coming from, but the Jackal will be
Shock.
recovered. Shock, unaware that he in fact did deliver a down but not out onto Spoinken, the super sub who's come in. But it does mean that there are still 4 members alive for the Carlstad Kings with a minute, well, just over a minute, in fact, left on the round for them to set up. Shock that Nitro Cell from below. They'll now have an idea that maybe there's someone below, though it could be interpreted as a pre-placed. Looks like, however, Spoinken, watching those red stairs, is aware that there could be someone coming to bite them from the back. But Shock still looking for a pick from below, trying to get some work done from downstairs. Maybe he's going to head towards red, looking through the holes continuously. He just wants to find that opening advantage, eke his team back into this round. As the site execute is beginning to come out, someone catching out Juan, the smoke grenades coming to fly, as Spoinken rotating with that diffuser into a position where he can start to get it down. One player still playing at the top of main stairs. The last player, in fact, the Goyo, hanging around. He'll be pushed out by Divine after Blue was able to remove Shock from play.
What a great round from Carlstad. Again, they know what they're going for, and with iFluvio giving them the opening pick with that mute, such an important operator with that C4, they felt so much more comfortable. But I think what really put the nail in the coffin there was Jeff. Jeff got a bit too aggressive there. Yes, he got a pick for that, but maybe he could have run earlier. I'm not too sure. Maybe he mispositioned himself a little bit. But you need to put your team on your back right now. Um, he's basically the only player right now on his team who's putting that constant pressure and is making sure that he's constantly getting these frags on the defense, right? We saw Shock with great game sense with that C4, but that's just not enough. First of all, Jackal just got down. It just wasn't enough. And besides that, just the flank not coming in fast enough. The players are aware of it. They're not as scared, and they're winning that gunfight on the flank. So again, Jeff needs to make sure that he's putting himself in a position where he's always in an advantage, right? He needs to hide somewhere, or maybe flank somewhere, maybe even hold a key position in the map. It doesn't matter, but he needs to be the first aggressor here. He needs to make sure that Carlstad is uncomfortable, right? 6-4 right now, match point, all the pressure is on Volgara, and hopefully they do something with it. Hopefully there's going to be a change here. We'll be able to see a bit of a closer game here. For me, it's pretty one-sided towards Carlstad right now. They figured out how Volgara plays right now. They figured out that Jeff is the main problem. They're taking him down, and they're consistently winning these rounds again.
Yeah, they were able to. I mean, it was a little bit unfortunate to lose their Sledge Askel early on, but Juan with a quick spawn peek onto Spoiken, playing downstairs from that garage door. That is a cheeky spawn peek. No one ever uses that door. No one ever checks that door. Everyone runs past willy-nilly, and they've been punished for it on this occasion. I doubt they'll be making that mistake in a hurry once again, but Juan now also keeping up, trying to catch up to Jeff, trying to get that work in as well, as they just really want to try and secure these rounds, push their team forwards. They're now looking down upon match point. If they make another mistake, well, that will be the game, and the points going to Carlstad Kings. And they want to try and get that double win after Chalet.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen Carlstad already in the past on Chalet as well, and possibly on Villa. I'm not too sure. Working with a 4v5 situation, but as I said,
an angle!
Another kill. What? How do you even get that
what
shot?
An angle through the hole, through the door, through the window, from the top of Astro stairs. That is phenomenal. Shots from Juan. He really wants to win.
Yeah, and that's what your team needs right now in order to win these rounds. Because Carlstad has just been rolling all over you, and it looks like they just didn't care until now. But right now, when Juan showed that he's able to win these gunfights and he's able to get these aggressive early picks, it's going to look a bit different, as Askel is going to throw his nades towards a statue here, and nothing is going to pan out. But a C4 will connect and will take out someone. That Nomad is going to go down.
Go with a double kill! He peeks through the door and finds 2. They connect up for each other. They line in perfectly for him. Blue trying to jump in is going to get caught out by a Frostmount, I believe, and I think they are aware he's going to throw out a temporary frag grenade just to keep the defenders at bay. Cold Cobra looking for a swing with that Vector. He's gonna get, no, he doesn't even get either of them. Askell with a triple kill, holding on tightly, bringing it back to a 2 versus 2. This is way closer than it should be, but both members of Carlstad Kings have less than 20 HP. There are 35 between them, which means a single shot from either Shock or Jeff will take them out of play. The fire rate advantage, though, is definitely in their hands, and if they can hit one of these heads, then it will be the sealed deal. 20 seconds, it's all come down to this. As they're pushing in, Jeff doesn't know they're coming. Quadra kill for Askell. He's pushing in, he's looking for the last. They don't know where Shock is. Shock playing on the balcony as the diffuser will start to go down. He's being covered by Blue, but the swing comes out. He sees him, and it's going to be Blue holding the angle from deep inside of statue trophy. He's going to get the kill as he pushes up, and he's going to secure the win for his team. Carlstad Kings take the game home. GG well played in the chat. Well,
Wow. That was a crazy round.
that was a way to end it. Askell with a quadra kill from 2 versus 5 situation. Him and Blue pairing up so well together to keep them alive, keep the hopes, and secure the points after a disappointing Chalet. What a wonderful game of Rainbow Six Siege. I'm so happy we got to have that Villa match, because otherwise we would have missed a fantastic performance.
Wow. Yeah, Askell definitely putting his team on his back there. And he did it when it mattered most, right? They really didn't want to go into that overtime. They wanted to end it off as soon as possible, make sure that they show that they're the dominant team here. They should have won Chalet. That's what they probably believe. And they came into this match, into this map, just swinging left and right. Defense, attack, doesn't matter. 2v5, we'll win it, boys.
Yeah, just the confidence in some of their plays as they took the aggression onto Volgara for this second half, the second map. And, well, they did a good job recovering from their first half. The first half of their attacks were a little bit lackluster, but when they started to get rolling, when they realized what they needed to overcome this defense from Volgara, who put up a fantastic effort. I think we should highlight both Jeff and Juan, who had some fantastic performances. I mean, even in that last round, I'm sure Juan will be a little bit disappointed in that, because he found 2 lovely kills. I mean, that one on the Nomad, someone on the balcony, through a rotation, through a doorway, through a window, it all lined up perfectly. And to be able to find that shot, it's a needle in a haystack, and he found it first time.
Yeah, definitely. The kind of shots that you need to land throughout the map in order to get that win. But he didn't manage to do that. Indeed, a solid performance from him and Jeff, but it is a team game. And when your team doesn't perform, that's what happens, right? For me to stand out negatively on that team was iFluvio, right? Constantly the opening pick, the first pick, or the second pick, uh, constantly going for these aggressive peaks with the SMG 11 just didn't pan out. You need to understand at some point your kit, right? You're playing with that C4, you're playing with that shotgun, that SMG 11, you're better at close quarters, you're better when the attackers you're forcing them for the execute, you're using your C4, you're using your shotgun to deny that. That's how you use mute the best, right? That's how you use his kit the best usually. And I get it. You do it the first time around, it doesn't work out. Maybe the second time around, but come on, man, right? You can't let your team down like that.
Yeah, and so, well, an overall score of 1-1. Like you say, I think Carlstad Kings will feel a little bit robbed, and I think maybe some tweaks need to come out from Volgara to see them continue through the league, continue to get some more points, because their performance wasn't consistent enough. When we saw it reach its height, it was wonderful to see some of the individual performances coming through. The connections between 2 or 3 players at a time were lovely, but consistency was not there to win out that game of Villa. And we'll have to wait and see what they come up with next time they are playing. But that was today's game, and it's been lovely to bring it to you. Apologies for the extended pause. There wasn't really much we could do about it. Running into technical difficulties, it sometimes happens. Life gets in the way, and the internet sometimes doesn't want to work. But from us here at Talent League, it's been me, Godu Molin. It's been fantastic to be here with you, Leo. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I want to say a very quick thank you to our production, both Epsilon, you've been fantastic behind the scenes. Robert on the observing, fantastic as always. And a quick thank you to our sponsor, Manic, who have done great jobs keeping us supported, letting us run this performance, and letting us bring some quality matches to you. Anyway, that will be it from us at Talent League R6. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and have a good one.